Hey guys, thanks for checking out this episode of Anderson's Outdoors. Today's episode, we're going to be planting our spring gardens and talking about some of the tools and resources that I've used to develop my plan for that. And I also wanted to introduce to you a new part of our Anderson Outdoors team. This is Olive. Apparently Olive doesn't want to... This is Olive. We're working on harness training Olive so she can hang out with us in the backyard. It's pretty much an indoor cat, but anyway, thanks Olive. Here you go. There you go. Before we get going on our video for today, I noticed looking at our YouTube analytics that a large percentage of people that are actually watching our videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you just take a second, scroll down and hit that subscribe button, you can always unsubscribe if you decide you don't really want to follow our channel, but that would be a huge help to us in developing our channel. So thanks, and hope you enjoy the video. So it's early March in Albuquerque here, and Albuquerque is zone 7B. So that means we have between 150 and 180 days for our growing season here, frost-free days. And our average last frost is usually around the end of April, beginning of May, somewhere in there. So it's a perfect time for us to get started planting some spring crops and veggies that we can easily get in the ground now and hopefully harvest early in the season, right about the time that we're going to also start planting out some more of our summer vegetables, things that are, you know, more common things that I plant like tomatoes and whatnot. So one guide that I used to help me in figuring out how to do that, and I mentioned this in my previous video that I'll link up above, is the New Mexico State University Cooperative Extension website. They've got a ton of different resources on there that are really helpful in determining what I wanted to do and some of the time frames that I should follow when planning out my garden. One of the things that I found to be really helpful is that they have detailed maps and charts online, and you can actually print them off if you'd like to do that. That's what I did, because I like to actually have the paper to kind of carry around the yard and look at and plan things out. But you can just go online and look up these maps and charts for our area here in Albuquerque. And what these maps and charts are helping me to do is, number one, determine the length of my growing season. They also have helped me, like I said, help me figure out when the last frost actually is for my area. And that really does helps you determine when the best time is to get certain crops in the ground. A third thing that they actually offer that's really helpful is recommended crops and varieties of plants that will work really well in my area. And there's also all kinds of other helpful information that they have there, such as, like average number of days that it takes to get a certain type of crop to harvest. The best planting dates, actually, they usually give you a range for the best planting dates for each individual type of vegetable. They even go into stuff like how deep you should plant each seed, how far apart should your rows be, things like that. And even a really cool thing that I never thought about, which is they tell you if you're trying to grow, whatever it is, certain kind of vegetable, how many feet of row per person you need to grow. So if you're really trying to be self-sufficient and, grow as much as you can, in an urban garden or in some sort of homesteading situation, this type of resource could really be a game changer for you. So, for us, the New Mexico State Ag Extension has been really, really helpful. So I realize a lot of you probably don't live in New Mexico, but, go online and see if you could figure out the Agricultural Extension website and what university that's through in your area, and just see what kind of resources they have for you there. I guarantee it will be a game changer, and it'll really help you plan out and figure out how to do what you really want to do in your backyard garden or with your homestead and all of that. All right, well, I'm actually going to go ahead and get everything ready here and get going on planting my seeds for our spring garden. Let's check that out. So what I'm working on right now is getting all these dried leaves off of my beds. I'm just going to put them over here in my compost pile for a little while. because I'm probably going to use some of them actually to provide some cover once I get the seeds down. But I just wanted to show you guys this. I have a bunch of raised beds here that I just used leaves from my yard and actually from other people's yards too. And I just, some of them have been chopped up in a lawnmower and some of them are whole leaves. Doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to cover my soil through the winter just to help keep the soil a little more moist and protected. And you can see that right there. I haven't watered this at all this winter. We've gotten a little bit of snow, but normally when I come out here in the spring and get ready to plant, this dirt out here would be absolutely, like right here, you can see this where there's no leaves. The leaves have kind of blown off. It's just real gray and dry, and it's just been exposed to a lot more in terms of environmental degradation. But keeping it covered with some leaves really helps the soil stay nice throughout the winter. And let me show you one thing here that I saw. This is my bed where I grew some carrots last year, and actually right here where there's a few carrots that I just didn't, it looks like that one got pulled up and just was never harvested. But these carrots live through the winter. They survive. The plants are alive, they're ready to go, and I could just leave them there, and those actually might even produce some flowers for me that would produce carrot seed. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to pull this up and see what this looks like. Yeah. Anyway, just some of the benefits of keeping your garden covered with some sort of cover. Some people like to use straw. I don't have straw. I'd have to buy it, but every fall I get plenty of leaves for free. The other thing I'm doing right now is a little bit just of light soil amendment. I have some leftover peat moss from last year, and I bought myself a big bag, of course, of vermiculite. And you can see that here. I've already amended this bed just a little bit. I just put a little bit of peat moss in, lightly turned the soil, not very deep, and then added this vermiculite, which has a lot of pore space in it. It helps hold moisture, which is really critical here in our dry, arid, high desert climate. Having that vermiculite and a little bit of peat moss has actually been a game changer. I had a huge crop of carrots right down here in this little small bed last year, and this year for a spring garden I'm going to try to grow a lot of carrots. But in the past, when I tried to grow carrots, they never grew well, and I think that the main reason was my soil was too hard and compact. And I found that since I've started really making a good amended soil with compost, a little bit of vermiculite, and some peat moss, and just really mixing that through and making sure that those carrots have a nice soft medium to grow down into, I've been able to have great carrot harvests over the last few years. So anyway, that's kind of the step I'm doing right here, is clearing off all these beds, just getting all the leaves out, and then lightly amending the soil and getting them ready for our spring crops. All three of these beds are ready to go. This bed is about 4 by 5 feet. The next one down is about 4 by 3 feet, and the bottom one down there is 4 by 4. So I've got everything pretty much ready to go, amended the soil a little bit, and got everything kind of leveled out. And so I'm just referring to I made a little sketch here of what I wanted to plant. And in this bed, just so I don't forget what I'm doing, I'm going to do onions here. I'm going to plant purple carrots here, and down in the very far one down here is going to be beets. So again, I just thought, to refer back to this this really handy guide from the Ag Extension that I was telling you guys about. Print that off. Here's a map of New Mexico with all the different growing zones. So here's the chart I was telling you about. It talks about your onions, goes through all the different recommended types. Here's the onion spring planted, the yellow sweet Spanish, and it says to plant the seeds about a 1/2 inch deep and in rows 20 to 36 inches apart. I am not going to do that. There's no need for me to plant onion seeds 20 to 36 inches apart here. So what I've already started to do is I just got a little piece of PVC. I'm making a little indentation here. And I'll just go down the row. That's probably about 6 or 8 inches apart. I think that's adequate spacing for onions, don't you? So I just like using this piece of 1/2 inch PVC. Push it down nice and firmly into your soil there. And it, you know, that way you don't have to poke holes necessarily. It doesn't take as much time. You just make like a nice little track there. And I can just come along and drop my seed right in there. So these yellow sweet Spanish onion seeds are seeds that I got from the local library seed saving program, seed library. All right, we'll just cover those over. Come on, Olive, let's go. Time to go out to the garden. We got to finish planting. Look at this nice dirt. There you go. Oh.
Oh, you're okay. Okay.
So thanks for watching this episode of Anderson's Outdoors. Hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of spring seed planting and soil prep. And we'll catch you guys next time. So take it easy.